Hi. Okay. Welcome back to my channel. I don't have my webcam, so the video is probably not going to be the best focus, but you know, we here, and that's all that matters. Okay. It's late. I know this is probably not the best time. It's 12:30 in LA. So it's probably not the best time to be doing a live and expecting people to jump on, but I am going to save this live and leave it as a video so that we all can enjoy and comment and chat and everything. So I'm Oracle Smith. You can call me Oracle. You can call me Oracle B. You can call me Miss O. Some people call me Miss O. Um, Whatever you want. And I am a self mastery coach. I teach people how to use self inquiry to master um, themselves and to create a life and a lifestyle that you find adorable. To get yourself to a place in life where you can adore your days and just live in complete joy. And so I help people really get from point A to point B, that being point B. So wherever your point A is, we start there and then we work our way to adorable lifestyles and living a life that you love. So I'm not here to sell my services tonight, but they are available. So I speak of them. There's information in the Dropbox or on my page. You can find me. So we'll move on from that. Who, this information that I want to share tonight is not my information. It's not something that I've made up or come up with. It's not something that is of my opinion. I really, really want to talk about truth. I want to talk about the truth of the matters, the truth beyond the reality. Um, because the reality right now is not necessarily one that we have the answers to and that we can trust. There is a cosmic shift that has been playing out since 2012. And now in 2020, we are headed towards 2023. And in 2023, there are going to be major, major changes in the way that we live life and what life looks like for us. And by 2030, life may be unrecognizable. By 2050, you absolutely can guarantee that it will be. And that's just 30 years from now. I'm a 34-year-old woman, so I'm talking about 64, 65 years old, me not being able to recognize my life. And this is a truth, right? This is a cyclical world that we live in. It's a cosmic truth that we should expect change and change at dramatic levels. If we go back to the time of Christ, of Jesus, um, this world does not look like it did then. If I go back to high school, I remember when I got my first cell phone in the 11th grade. This is not that world. And I got my first car. Gas was 99 cents. And, this is not that world. And when I had my daughter, she's 18 now. It's not the world that we're in. And I was telling my daughter now, tonight, because she's getting ready to go to college, that we were talking about some breath work. She's been dealing with a lot of stress. And so we were talking about breath work and, energy and, all of the things that she needs, getting more oxygen to her brain. Because I had to explain to her, honey, whatever you have as an expectation for that's going to be your college experience, coming soon. Don't expect that. Like whatever it is that you expect to be your experience, just don't expect that to be the case. It's not going to be. You're going in the next 4 to 5 years, the world is going to make a shift. And it's not making a shift because the government's in control or because, a conspiracy or because of any of those things first. The reason that the world is going to change is because of truth first. Then, yes, the players, right? So, for example, we all know, well, some of us may know because I am a non denominational spiritualist who is in love absolutely with Jesus Christ. But I do not claim to be in any sect or any particular organization or system. I understand Jesus from a different space. I read and study beyond the Bible. I actually don't study the Bible. I study a lot of other ancient texts that give the same information that I think the Bible is correlated to, So I'm studying beyond because I'm studying deeper. Now, again, I studied the Bible my whole life, so it's not that I don't know that. It's just that I have been led on a journey to understand life and not just understand Christianity, to understand me and not just understand, me in a mundane kind of I have no power kind of way. I had to leave the system of religion in order to be the spiritualist and really get back to Jesus and get to know Jesus in a way that I think has allowed me to grow and allows me to teach from Jesus's teaching with authenticity and with the spirit of Christ instead of a spirit of control. So, um, this is truth. Like, I mean, there. So, I was saying, so Judas, we all know that Judas was the player that how Jesus ended up getting arrested and ended up on a cross, right? But when we read other books, we understand that Jesus knew that it was going to be Judas, and Judas knew that it was going to be Judas because he was a player, right? So no matter who is the one divvying out the mundane or 3D parts of the shift that's happening, be it the government or companies or corporations or whatever, it doesn't matter really who the players are on that level. The cosmic thing that's going to happen is happening. The truth is in motion, and it has been in motion forever. It isn't necessarily something to be alarmed about. We are alarmed about it because we really do not like change that we don't have control over. But if we notice and that's kind of almost why I think that, we only can live like 60, 80, 90 years because, if you were living 200 years, you would really, really know how much you don't have control over anything. We want things to stay the same. We want change to happen, you know, as we dictate change. We want change to happen at the pace we want change, even in our own personal lives, which is why I work with people on self mastery. And a lot of the mastery is having the ability to let go, having the ability to actually let go is important when it comes to mastering the self. So collectively, I really believe that it's time for us to have the ability to let go because this change has come. Do I know, where the change is leading? No. And partially because I have also work to do to prepare for this change, including me doing this live at 12:41. It's one of those things where I failed you. I have failed in a lot of ways by choosing not to communicate what I've been getting um, and what I've learned and what I could have shared by now to help others. And I just haven't done that. But I can't wait anymore. Another moment can't go by. I can't go to sleep and then wake up and I'll do it tomorrow. There are certain things that I just cannot wait for anymore. And one of those things is sharing this information. I'll tell you that I've had this huge desire to become a public speaker. And so I haven't gotten on YouTube and been authentic and done this because, I want to go be a public speaker. And I feel in my mind from my time in business and entrepreneurship that means I have to be set up a certain kind of way. I got to look a certain way. I got to always be perfect. I got to have all these things so that I can get, these speaking gigs. And it's like, this is my speaking gig. And this should have been my speaking gig a long time ago. And I apologize to you for not showing up. I do. And this is not my ego. Like it's not like, "Oh, I'm so great and you need me." It's no, like God has asked me to open my mouth and share the inspirations and the insights that have been bestowed upon me and put into my energy, and I have felt to do so for very egotistical and personal reasons. And I really think that my daughter is such an inspiration to me because talking to her and preparing her, teaching her things at 18 that she can do to ensure that she's equipped and that she's strong and that she's ready for whatever is to come, because I do not have that download at this time on what's coming. Hopefully, maybe, I open myself up to receive any information, but I can say that um, she really always makes me realize just how much how much I have to share. And I couldn't go on. I couldn't go on without doing this live. So if you're watching the replay of this, thank you so much for watching. But I'll continue. I kind of got lost for a second. That's how lives work, right? So I really want to talk to you guys about the truth of who we are, because you're going to need yourself in whatever is to come, because death comes before rebirth. There's always death before there's something new. What's coming is good. What's coming is so good, but it is going to be something new, which means something has to die. And the death part is always the hardest part for us as humans. Like we do not do well with death. We don't do well with death of people. We don't do well with death of systems. We don't do well with death of opportunities. We don't do well with death of things that we don't even need to do anymore. We're the worst when it comes to the death of something in our lives that no longer serves us. We really, really like to hold on to our attachments, even beyond when they've shown up to no longer serve us. We like to hold on to those things and because we don't like death. So, like, there literally is no way around death when it comes to the cycle of life, to the construct of our reality, physically speaking, mentally speaking, spiritually speaking. There's just, well, spiritually speaking, I don't know, because with spirit, you are always, you know, whole, right? And there's no death for the spirit. There's only resurrection and life abundantly, life permanently. So um, for now, I want to leave that out. It doesn't resonate to say that about spirit. So with that in mind, and I'm sorry if I'm looking down because I do get the information. So the way that I get my information, if this is your first time ever watching me, talking to me, being involved, I think I am going to put this on my Facebook page. And a lot of people that are on my Facebook page know me from my past in business, and I still do that business. So a lot of people know me for that. They don't know all of the gifts that God has activated in me that is taking me in a completely different direction, a direction of healing, a direction of scholar, a direction of oracle. I'm oracle. And so some I see the way that my gifts work. I see what I say in the back of my mind, right? So I get omni not omni. I get clear cognizant images, right? Clairvoyant, cognizant images, the back of my mind that communicate as words, right? And so sometimes the picture is so vivid that I can share with you what I'm seeing, the whole story playing out. And other times it's just the words, but I can feel the picture, which is clairsentience, and then, communicate that through my clairaudient abilities, right? So that's how my gifts work, and that's a great segue because that's kind of what I want to talk to you about. Like, it's time for us to accept the truth of who we are, and one way that we can do that is by taking up all of our senses and being responsible for them and using them for the greater good of all involved, using them for our own purpose and using them for this in service to others, right? And so you're like, what are you talking about? Like, don't click off, stay with it because this is important. And I would, if you're here now, then you're supposed to be here. And if there's something that I say, ask me questions about it. But if you're here now, then you're supposed to be here. Don't click off because it's getting deep and it's going to get deeper, but we need to hear this and I need to deliver this message. And I just bless every person who hears it, that the message that I bring forth is one that is free of my opinion, one that is free of my ego, and one that is completely surrendered to the all that is. I am completely surrendered to the most high energy of God, to the name that is, nine syllables, nine words and four syllables deep, that no one can even uncode and decode and understand the depths of it. Has a numerical value of 1697, and the code is uncracked because there is no way to crack the code of God. And so I draw from the abundance of the spheres this information. I do not draw this from even my own heart, and my heart is big and it is my divine connection to God. But I even ask now in this prayer that the heart of the divine is where I speak from and where I share this information from, so that it is pure, that the energy coming out of my voice, coming through this transmission, is pure, that it is radiant, that it is love, and that it reaches and goes out to every person and it hits every heart and it awakens all of those that are to be awakened by these words, and it inhabits the praises of the people, and that it becomes a song of glory and honor and acceptance and of love and appreciation for all that is within us and all that is outside of us, all that is above and all that is below. May it come together in complete harmony, so that we all live in harmony within ourselves, and that we radiate that harmony out through our aura into the mechanism that is this 3D reality, and that the matrix be made new and be unsquared and shaped again back into the circular shape that is the image of the creation that is God. And I just pray this in the name of Christ, who is the the best example that I know for what it means to live a life that is completely committed to the Creator and to all people, and to love and love again. And in that name, I say, Yah, Amen. Amen. So, we really have to get, amen. We really have to get back to the fullness of who we are. It's time to become whole. We're going to need everything, right? Not because there's anything bad happening. There is new after death. There is birth after death. So nothing bad is happening because the happenings will never stop. Part of the thing and the issues that we have with going through times of death and rebirth is that we think death is a stop. We think that there is an ending, but there is no ending in death. There is only a cycling in death. Everything in the universe is circular except for the square matrix that we have decided to build for ourselves, right? It's a three-dimensional reality, but it's out of balance. It's very square, and it doesn't have the circular nature that allows the expansion. And so we have to get back to ourselves. That's what I mean. We have to get back to this rhythm. We have to get back to allowing the energy centers within our bodies begin to circle again. We have to get back to ourselves. And the way that we do that is by reclaiming our senses, reclaiming all of our senses. Now, I say reclaiming, and it almost seems in that word like you don't have access to these senses, or you'd have to activate these senses, or you'll need to figure out these senses. I come to tell you that that's not the case. That actually, you already always have these senses, and you have already always had these senses since birth, and you already always use these senses every day. Now, these senses, you may not be aware that you have them. They may have been capitalized upon. May have been used to make people presume that they're special. They may have been used by people to make other people think that they're special. They may have been used to, have the answer when it's true that all of those things are right, because those that are empowered in their senses utilize their senses, right? But for those that are not empowered, it's time for us to empower ourselves by the use of all of our senses. And so I come by to tell you today that you do not have five senses. You have just learned, and that you work with and you deal with your touch, your taste, your smell, your hear, your touch, taste, smell, hear, and sight, right? So you've been taught about those things that are the five senses that allow us to communicate with ourselves and with each other in a human experience. But because you are a soul, and that's the truth, because you are spirit, and that's the truth, because this physical body that operates these five senses lives within the totality of who you are. I mean, and I was doing my hand like this, like all of you, the totality of who you are. There is also senses that come with that body, that come with who you are. You have the five senses that come with the body, but you have five other senses that come with who you are. And I'll give you the evidence, right? Children, babies, they have all kinds of extra senses. They are not bound to the five senses. They can barely use them. They don't know what smelling is. They don't know what tasting is. They don't know what, seeing is a new phenomenon, anyways, but they're doing it because their eyes are open. They're like, "Ooh, I gotta sleep. That's too much. Like, what is this?" Like the senses and the energy of calibrating the five senses is a really big deal for a baby. But what we notice is that the baby also has other senses. We notice that the babies see the angels around us, right? They have clear sight, they're clairvoyant, right? Babies just have radar, right? Like dogs, like my dog. Like my dog knows when someone is in the hallway. And I live upstairs, and you can walk downstairs in my place, and the door is like back there, downstairs, back there, around there, right? My dog, a little dog, she's 3 pounds. She's sleeping down there. She can hear the hallway from up here and run. Clear audience. She can hear, clear hearing, right? In the Bible, God said, those who have eyes to see, and those who have ears to hear. It's everywhere in the parables of Jesus. And what I believe Jesus is saying is, hey, you have these clear senses, right? You have clairvoyance, clear seeing, right? Being able to see spiritually, because these are the senses of your spirit. You have clear seeing, you have clear hearing, right? You can hear the ethos. You can plug into a frequency and you can listen to the thoughts on that wavelength. You can, hear, period. Like you just have this ability to hear, and you'll think a thought and you'll think that you thought the thought, but it's really the person's next to you thought, or it's really a thought from 2 weeks ago. Like there's all of that, but I can tell you for sure that you have clear hearing, right? Then you have clear feeling, clear sentience. You also have clear cognizance, which is clear knowing, and you also are telepathic. These are the senses of the spirit that you were born with, that you still have in complete activation right now. There's no need to activate it. You don't need to call a clairvoyant and see what they see. You are clairvoyant. You have clear hearing. You have clear feeling. You have clear knowing. You have not been taught that. You've been taught five. And your parents were not taught that. They were taught five. And so it's no one's fault that you did not know, but they don't cut off as you get older. They can grow weak like any other part of your body, but there's no cutting off this truth. And so it's time for us to get back to our spiritual nature and to help the people on the front line dealing with this stuff. And we can help them by helping ourselves step into the truth of who we are. We can help them by not being distracted and watching and putting energy in it, but instead putting energy within ourselves. We can help them by being focused, not on a fantasy, but on a dreamed reality, right? There is so much opportunity. Now, I'm going to do a video on each of those senses this week so that you'll be able to understand why I mean by that. I've been on 27 minutes. I don't want to stay on all night, but I wanted to tell you that we're about to go through something. I'm going to be here talking about it. And the takeaway is that God is like, it's time for you guys to get ready for this change because it's happening. It's a cosmic calendar that we live under, and it's time for a shift. And if we do not prepare, then we will be weakened. And weakened for what? What's coming? What's not? I have no clue, right? I just know that there is death before rebirth, but that rebirth is exactly what we need and exactly what we want. And so can we do what we need to do to get to the new birth? Can we work on ourselves now, activate all of our senses, get in alignment with ourselves, and be prepared when it's time, if it ever becomes time? Can we look at it like that? Can we work with it like that? Right? So I'm going to make a video on those five senses again: clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance, and telepathy. Those are the five senses that you currently have right now that you may not know how to work with. And I'm going to teach you how to work with them because it's time. There is no more time to, not wouldn't say waste, but time to do something else. Right now, my power to choose has been revoked, and my power, I choose to be with you. So I am thankful that you've been with me for 30 minutes. I did not dive as deep as I planned because I literally heard you need to make a video for each one, not just one blanket hour and a half video. You need to make a video for each one. You're starting off. And I heard that. I saw the image and I've learned to be obedient to it. So thank you so, so much for joining. Please let me know what you think about the things that I've shared so far. Please subscribe and like because there's more of this information coming. We may try to stay around 30 minutes, and there's some lives that may end up being an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on you and your interaction. So please let me know in the comments what you think, what you want to hear, and what I can do to further share. I thank you for this time. I thank you for your love. And until next time, I am Oracle B. Take care. I love you.